And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John.
Ladies and gentlemen, for that lovely reception, I'll just say how delighted I am to be here in Amsterdam. I know what you're thinking. You're wondering what a huge international megastar like John Cleese is doing here, telling jokes to a bunch of elongated cheese eaters at the age of 76, when he should be back home in London in his own oxygen tent resting. Well, I'll show you the reason, ladies and gentlemen. This is my ex-wife on her morning stroll to collect her alimony. That's the reason. So, to kick off this evening's entertainment, I thought it might interest you, if I told you ordinary, undistinguished people what it is like to be a worldwide celebrity and to be adored and indeed worshipped wherever I go. Well, when you're very young, the first time that you're recognised, it's incredibly exciting. Your heart swells with pride and self-importance. I think it's a fantastic feeling. Then after about 20 years, you begin to get used to it. People do say pretty much the same thing each time, but no problem, except that it does get a little bit repetitious. And then after another 25 years, when someone comes up to you and says, "Mr. Cleese, I don't mean to bother you, but I just have to say how much your work has meant to me over the years. Thank you for making me laugh. What a wonderful gift laughter is, and bless you for all the joy that you've brought me and my family." I just want to tell them to go jump in the fucking lake. But I would never say that to delightful, if fairly unimportant people like yourself. So, has to go for a time. I suggest that rather, if we bump into each other in the street tomorrow, rather than each one of you coming up to me individually, we can do it all now this evening and get it out of the way. So please direct your attention to the screen, where you will see your lines. We'll conduct you. You are ready, and go. Oh, no, you're not bothering me, really. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, yes, thank you.
Number one fan.
Well, that's really very kind of you, thank you.
No, I'm just saying this because it's talking.
I know you're not, and I appreciate that. Thank you. It's wonderful to hear that. I'm very touched.
So it's great to get a chance to meet you. Kind of person, really.
It's my pleasure. I'm afraid these stage managers play a little practical joke on me. I like to play jokes too. You're fired! Actually, it's not been a good day, and I'm staying in the most dreadful hotel. I better not tell you its name, I might get sued. I arrived there last night, and the young fellow on reception said to me, "Oh, Mr. Cleese, so delighted to have you stay with us. We love 40 Towers and Monty Python, of course. Could I have your autograph?" So I signed my autograph, and I gave him my credit card, and he said, "I'm so sorry, but do you have any identification?" You might think that being a huge celebrity is a help in hotels, but it isn't. About 3 or 4 months ago, I was staying in the Grand Hotel in Oslo. On Sunday mornings, they have the most wonderful smorgasbord. So I filled up my plate with salmon and sat down, and a waiter came up and said, "Excuse me, is there anything else you need?" I said, "I'd like a small bottle of sparkling water, please." He said, "There'll be an extra charge for that." I said, "Well, that's fine." So he went off and came back. He said, "May I have your room number?" I said, "Yes, it's 401. and my name is Cleese, C-L-E-E-S-E, and he said, thank you, and he went, where? And I started on the sum, and he came back and said, could I check your room number? I said, yes, it's 401. He said, and may I just double check your name? I said, well, it's Cleese, C-L-E-E-S-E, and he said, but I don't think it is Cleese. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure it is, you know. Why don't you think it's my name? He said, because the gentleman in room 401 is Mr. Incognito. But you know, hotels everywhere in the world are surprisingly bad, and I tell you that because I stay in about 70 hotels every year, and I know what to expect. You know, you arrive at a hotel and you stand in a long line at reception as there are only 2 clerks on duty because the others are taking a break to avoid the rush. One clerk is on his first day and is a trainee from Kazakhstan. So when you're finally summoned forward, you are asked, are you checking in? Rather as though you might be queuing for fish and chips. When you get to your room, you'll find the room is too cold, so you go to the temperature control on the wall, but you find it's covered with odd symbols and icons and hieroglyphs, none of which you've ever seen before. So you try to turn the air conditioning on, but of course there is no on or off switch, as that would be technologically contemptible, you know. So you go to the telephone to ask someone to explain how to warm up the room, and you are presented again with multiple choices. This is the telephone I had 3 days ago. I'm too pressed for reception. I tried 0 and 1 and then 9, and then I tried all of those 8, and then I tried 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I gave up. I walked all the way down to reception. I said, I've been trying to call you from my room. Oh, said the young woman, you press 8. Taking her warmly by the throat, I said, how was I supposed to know that? And she said, oh, well, it's always been 8 in this hotel. Why do hotels try to bewilder us? Is it so that we don't notice the inflated charges for bottled water, parking and hookers? And if you think that hotels are not hell-bent on driving you crazy, answer me this. Why is it that whatever hotel you walk into anywhere in the world, when you go into the toilet, the first available sheet of toilet paper is folded into a triangle? What's the point? What is the point of the point? Is it proof that your housemate has studied origami? Is it perhaps some kind of secret sign? If you're a Freemason, for example, are you supposed to fold the next sheet into a rhomboid? Does the point of the triangle make it easier to insert it into something? I asked a marketing person, and he told me that the triangle was to assure the guest that it was fresh paper. One notice if it had already been used, and would it still be attached to the roll? Of course, you may think it's rather ungrateful of me to be poking fun at hotels when one particular hotel has provided me with a rather good living over the years, because of course the character of Basil Fawlty, hotelier from hell, was based on a real person, one Donald Sinclair, at whose hotel, Gleneagles, the Python team, was staying in the spring of 1970 when we were filming on the south coast of England. And I still remember arriving at the hotel, walking into the lobby, and walking up to him at reception, and he saw me coming, so he pretended he was busy. I stood there patiently for some time. He ignored me, and eventually I said, excuse me, and he said, oh, what? Mr. Sinclair, you see, was the embodiment of the motto of British hoteliers: we could run this place properly if it wasn't for the guests. And I'm glad I stayed there, because he gave me all the material that I ever needed for both series. And almost the only thing we had to change was Mr. Sinclair's size, because he was actually rather small, and Mrs. Sinclair was distinctly large. So, when I wrote Fawlty Towers, only 3 years later, we made Basil's fear of Sybil his single strongest motivation. And to illustrate that, here's one of my favorite sequences where an attractive Australian girl, played by Luann Peters, arrives at the hotel and Basil shows her to her room.
Yes, I was just wondering, are you in fact Australian at all by any chance, ma'am?
Oh dear, is my accent that strong?
Oh, no, it's just that you're quite tall, so I thought perhaps... There we are, this is your room, if it's to your liking. View of the English Riviera, down there behind the trees. This is your bathroom. There we are. Oh, light's not working, I'll just fix it. Have you had a tiring journey?
There's 7 hours in the coach. Is the dining room still open?
Well, the chef leaves at night, I'm afraid. We can always do you sandwiches.
Oh, I'd like a hot meal, really. Is there a restaurant near here?
Well, there's an awfully good little Welsh place, Big House, about 5 minutes walk. You have to go straight away.
Oh, that'll do fine.
Just turn left out of the gate and straight on, and it's on your right.
You left this downstairs.
Sorry, switch. Sorry.
The sheer speed with which he comes up with his excuses. He does think incredibly quickly. Of course, his excuses are always terrible because Sybil causes him to panic. So watch what happens a moment later when he comes back to apologise.
Excuse me, I do apologise, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you.
Ja, kan er weer.
Come here.
Sorry to bother you. I thought I'd better apologise for my husband's behaviour.
No, please ring Mrs. Fortin.
He's going through rather a disturbed time at the moment.
No, please look, I don't quite understand. He does seem a bit worked up about something, but I'm sure there's some quite innocent explanation.
Basil?
Hi there, just checking the doors.
All right, what's going on?
I was in the bathroom!
Yes, she was there, so I just popped in and had a look at these hinges. You know, the ones we did.
Do you really imagine, even in your wildest dreams, that a girl like this could possibly be interested in an ageing, brilliantine, stick insect like you?
People used to ask me if I enjoyed making Fawlty Towers, and I used to tell them there wasn't time. You see, the script of the average BBC half-hour sitcom is about 65 pages long. Fawlty Towers, we used to do over 140 pages every episode. That is, we did everything twice as fast as any of the other sitcoms, so it was a lot to learn in just 4 days of rehearsal and then 1 day in the studio practicing with the cameras. And during the whole of Fawlty Towers, all 12 shows, we never completed a single dress rehearsal. It was that frantic. And the only reason that it looks as good as it does is that we spend an extraordinary amount of time editing it. We used to spend 20 hours editing every single program, just cutting out a little pause there and a little fluff line there, and then something went wrong there, so we just tightened that up a little bit there and another little pause there, and getting a real pace onto it, which is the secret of almost all good comedy. And I want to show you an example of this, which just happens to be my favourite moment in the whole series. It's the fire drill. Because there's always been to me something ridiculous about staging a fire drill exactly when everyone knows that it's going to happen. You know, and then we added an extra thought, and that is that the burglar alarm on the safe goes off by accident just before the drill is due to begin.
You know where it is? So she has to come along and move the damn thing so I can find it where it is. Well, what she put that on? Oh, I'm on to get. Sorry, Major. Only the burglar alarm. Sorry, Miss Tibbs.
What?
That was the burglar alarm. Fire drills on for a couple of minutes. Sorry, excuse me. No, my wife left the. Excuse me.
Yes?
Sorry, that wasn't the fire bell. Sorry, that was just the.
Oh, I thought it was a drill.
Yes, there is at 12 o'clock, but not yet.
But it is 12 o'clock.
Well, not quite. Thank you. Excuse me.
Yes.
Well, I make it 12 o'clock.
I'm afraid that wasn't the.
What time do you make it, Major?
Look, listen now, Daisy. Look, it doesn't matter what time he makes it. It has started yet. It hasn't started yet.
But that was the bell, wasn't it?
No, he means the drill hasn't started yet.
What drill? We didn't hear a drill.
No, look. Burglar alarm. See?
The burglar alarm.
Yes.
Are they burglars?
Evidently.